Let's now go deeper on the analysis of the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. For that, we are joined by Arnold August, author and journalist on geopolitics. Welcome, Arnold, to From the South.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to exchange with you once again. Luis Alberto from Montreal. My greetings to the staff of teleSUR in Havana, as well as in Caracas.
Thank you for your time as well. It's always a pleasure to have you with us. Arnold, moments ago, Iran launched its latest wave of attacks in response to the ongoing Israeli aggressions. What can you tell us of the current context and ripple effects that the ongoing hostilities will have in the region and beyond? And was this attack a way to sabotage any attempt at a nuclear or diplomatic agreement between Iran and the West?
Well, I think the first thing, I would like to point out is that the U.S.-Israeli policy in attacking Iran, it has nothing really to do with the issue of nuclear weapons or the eventual production of nuclear weapons by Iran. The overall main objective is regime change in Iran. Their goal is to overthrow the Islamic Revolution because of its support for the Palestinian people and its close ties with Arab and Islamic countries in the region. Today, in my view, a very significant escalation took place. As a journalist who is a regular contributor to Press TV, I must have given about 20 or 30 interviews over the last few years. I was outraged personally, as I know you are as a journalist as well, that the Israeli regime, backed by the United States, bombed the main broadcasting network of Iran in Tehran. It was quite a moving scene. I saw that on TV. It was tweeted out by some people. You know, the United States and U.S.-backed Israel gave a warning to the staff at the broadcasting building to evacuate. However, they refused to evacuate. And we can see on television one of the most prominent, well-known news personalities speaking in Farsi, her native language of Iran, speaking in Farsi. She kept on giving the news even though she knew that bombs were about to fall, and she only had to leave the scene when the bomb actually fell. And I got another very interesting observation by Professor Syed Mohammed Marandi. He is a professor at University of Tehran, and I think it is unanimous by us, from us in the West, he speaks perfect English, of course, that he is the best journalist, expert, dealing with the current situation. He goes on all TV shows, whether they're right-wing, left-wing, progressive, and he is so masterful in it that he leaves even the most antagonistic journalists mouthbound. They can't say anything. So he was there. What did he tweet out? He said he tweeted out that this was taking place, that he himself was in the building. This, makes me a bit nervous because we need Professor Marandi, as many others. He was in the building when the attack took place. He was preparing, as he said, for an important TV interview for a right-wing Zionist, well-known, Piers Morgan, when the attack hit. But he stayed there. So I'm staying anyways. And he noted that even while this was happening, Piers Morgan, this right-wing Zionist from England, kept on his usual rant against Iran as a cause of the current conflict. So I think this is an important point with regards to journalism, the freedom of expression. And Iran responded immediately just a few seconds ago, saying as a result of this latest attack on its main broadcasting building, injuring many people, it is also represents a new escalation because they are directly hitting on the right of the Iranian people to inform themselves of what is happening. And they said very clearly, this is going to lead to an escalation. So Israel and the United States and their allies, their supporters, their puppets, better get this straight. Tonight, something else is coming from Iran against Israel.
Arnold, you were referring to the attacks on the media, of course, and besides the conflict that is right now happening between Iran and Israel, there's also a conflict in the media, as you were saying, because you see the both sides. And the Western media in particular, what do you think that they always like justify and defend Israeli violence and aggression? We have seen that that is happening right now. We have also seen it in the past 2 years in its attacks against Gaza, against the Palestinian people, and then they quickly go to demonize Iran's legitimate response. Why do you think this is happening in that context as well?
Well, the mainstream corporative media, as you know, they pretty much peddle the main line that is emitted by the U.S. State Department, the White House, as well as the Israeli Defense Forces. Their main keyword, they never refer to the Iranian government as a government. The key word is regime. By saying regime, this is a not very subtle way of saying, seeing as it's a regime, it deserves to be overthrown. Secondly, after the initial stages when Israel launched that surprise, some people are saying it's the Pearl Harbor of the Middle East. It is to extent against Iran. Their initial reaction, United States reaction, was mitigated, but soon after they went into line with the overall position of the U.S. ruling circles and saying Israel has a right to defend itself, completely obliterating the fact that Israel is the one that attacked Iran. They keep on talking about negotiations. They even say, "Oh, Iran left the negotiating table on the nuclear arms." That is false. It's completely false. Iran was at the negotiating table a few days ago with the United States when Israel launched that surprise attack against Iran. So this is some of the basic, talking points. Once again, going into, as you said, regard to Palestine, Israel has the right to defend itself. Now, Israel has a right to defend itself against Iran. But I think more and more people world over are seeing through this. And there are important international repercussions as well regarding the positions of other nation states.
Going back to geopolitics, how do you see the results coming out of this conflict? How do you see the geopolitics changes in the region? And also, do you believe that Iran comes reinforced in terms of political power to the international arena following its legitimate defense against Israel?
Yes, I think that's a very good question. I'm glad that you asked it so we could exchange on that. If you look at the media, corporate media here in the United States or in Canada or Western Europe, they keep on repeating the same, give the impression or saying so openly that Iran is all alone and Israel has a lot of support. That's wrong. Just in the last few days, for example, important countries, China made a very important statement in support of Iran. And additionally, the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperative Organization, which includes dozens of countries in West Asia, very important West Asia, they gave out a declaration supporting Iran's right to defend itself against Israel. Of course, one of those countries in the SCO, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, India, they gave out their own declaration saying they don't agree with it. Well, India is another problem. I guess we have to deal with that in another time. But you have the SCO, you have China. And this is very important. And of course, in Latin America, the ALBA countries, countries in many parts of the world, especially in the global south. And then, of course, Russia took a very strong stand in support of Iran. And even the United Arab Emirates and the United Arab Republic, in their own way, they say they don't agree with the Israeli attack against Iran, but that is pretty superficial. But it's a good indication that contrary to what the Western media is saying, Iran is not isolated. I mean, it's very ironic, Alberto, that the Netanyahu made a speech directly addressing the Iranian people, asking them to rise up against the Islamic Republic of Iran and, of course, install a government that would be pro-U.S. But what is the reaction of the people in Iran? I've been following very closely on social media, and the people in Iran are applauding. They're sitting on the rooftops, playing music, applauding the missiles that are being fired by Iran against Israel. The same thing in Palestine. Is Palestine confused on this issue? No, they are also applauding the missiles as they see it flying over from Tehran into Israel, into the occupied territories. So any attempt at regime change that the United States is trying to spark in Iran is backfiring already. I mean, just as a funny anecdote, if I may, I've been scouring the internet to find who supports Netanyahu's stand. What I found, it's quite hilarious. I can send you the tweet later if you're interested. It's from an Australian Zionist in a bomb shelter in Tel Aviv, saying that we are suffering now. And we want the people of Iran to overthrow the government of the Iranian Islamic Republic. That's as far as they go. These, Australian, white Zionists hunkered down in a bomb shelter, echoing the call of Netanyahu to support regime change. Just shows how hollow the U.S. Israeli narrative and how they cannot win the narrative role this time around, either as they did not win it with regards to Palestine and with regards to Gaza, and also with regards to its attacks on southern Lebanon.
Thank you, Arnold. Unfortunately, this is all we have time for now. We hope we can stay in touch so we can continue discussing and debating on the current situation in the Middle East and its impacts, future impacts in the region.
It's always a pleasure for me. You can count on me anytime. Thank you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you as well.